Okay, hello, good morning, everybody. Okay, looks like the audio is working. All right, so we've been talking about this a little bit. Miracles is back. Nasif has been working a lot on the archetype. Miracles is deck we've played a lot on stream, and I think there's some big lessons to have learned here. I think that the package of being a Terminus deck with a lot of counterspells is pretty good in the modern format. I think you have a lot of game against everything but Eldrazi game one. Eldrazi is nightmare matchup, the one matchup you really don't want to see. Everything else is pretty good, I think. Terminus specifically is like fantastic against the black-white decks, fantastic against Boros, super powerful card. And I think that like the fact that people are playing this deck and there's a lot of different builds out there, but people are like doing well with Path to Exile and Celestial Colonnade when Restless Anchorage exists as like a better Celestial Colonnade, and people are playing Cryptic Command and doing well anyways, I think is a good sign for the archetype's viability. However, I think you could just play good cards. Now, I will say that I'm certainly not without bias when it comes to this archetype. You know, we qualified for a pro tour on stream one time with Miracles, and I've always been. This was back when you had the Mystic Sanctuary tech, where Mystic Sanctuary plus Counterbalance was a really potent combination. That was just so nice to be able to respond to the Counterbalance trigger, Mystic Sanctuary a spell with the appropriate mana value on top, and just counter their thing. And so I feel like every time I have come back to Miracles as an archetype, I have tried to force Counterbalance into the build. It's just a card that I'm so addicted to. But we're not doing that today. I think it's time to let it go. That being said, I think in a world of Path to Exiles and Cryptic Commands and Wandering Emperors, we could play Tamiyo Inquisitive Student instead. I think this card is quite good in this archetype. I believe I have played it in Miracles before, but Tamiyo is something that flips off Brainsurge, it flips off Jace. It also gives you clue tokens, which are surprisingly very valuable in a deck with Terminus. If you can set up a Terminus on top of your library, a clue all of a sudden becomes like a 3-mana Wrath draw card. I don't know if that's exactly how you want to think about it, but just an instant speed draw effect is pretty valuable in your Terminus deck. Tamiyo is also 1 mana, and just one of the best blue planeswalkers ever printed. I think the first Logic Knot is pretty free. I also am a big fan of this very surveil heavy mana base where we're playing 4 Meticulous Archive. I've played as many as 6 Surveil lands in this deck in the past. This was like right when I remember this was when the Surveil lands first got printed. We were playing a bunch of Surveil lands plus Counterbalance. We even trophied at least once, and then we even tried Enhanced Surveillance, which was better in theory than in practice. Anything else super big here? Only playing 1 Hall of Storm Giants. I think with Jace and a couple Solitudes, you don't really need to like super load up on creature lands. I really liked the Thief's tech of playing 2 planes and playing Harbinger of the Seas in the sideboard, being able to pivot into this against Titan against Eldrazi and Titan is I think a really nice tool, very important. I think the first Purge is pretty good. This is a card that's good against Black, White, and Breach, and Domain Zoo. Anything else? Yeah, I think that's about it. Let's go ahead and get in there. Why opt over consider? Good question. Okay, so opt is better than consider in blue-white control because we have very few graveyard synergies. Opt, of course, consider could maybe mill a Brainsurge or a Terminus for Tamiyo or help you Logic Knot for 1 more. But what's way worse than that is you consider and you accidentally put a fetchable that you would need later in the game in your yard, or you put a win condition that you need later in the game in your yard. You really don't. In blue-white control, it is just kind of good to not be milling yourself because of how the deck tends to play. Let's go ahead and keep this one on the play. Yeah, and of course, opt is much better than any sorcery speed version because you need to be able to Miracle Terminus on your opponent's turn with it. That's the main reason to play this card, is that you set up for Terminus or you're digging for Terminus, and then you're trying to opt and instant speed Wrath your opponent, untap, and win the game. All right, gonna graveyard that one. Is this allowed? Can people just put Terminus in the deck and say it's Miracles? Where are the entreats? You know, Miracles players, you gotta take what you can get. Yeah, I gotta take what you can get. So, punish for not leaving the Terminus on top. Let's go ahead and just Solitude the Tamiyo, play our own Tamiyo, hold up mana here. Someone said Temporal Mastery in the chat, and the first Temporal Mastery sure doesn't seem too bad. Would be better if Force of Negation was better positioned, of course. I'm not going to snare Grinding Station here, I think. I didn't hear everything. Do you consider Solitude a win option? Of course I consider Solitude a win condition. Of course. Pretty good Emery. They mill up Mox Opal, and they have the Bobble here. Usually better to Surveil than to Opt. Okay, I do like this Opt here because it lets me go Opt, Opt, Spell Snare up. Yeah, but Entreat the Angels is just kind of embarrassing. Let's bottom this. Not exactly it. I mean, like, second Tommy is not so bad. We can keep a Counterspell. Should get it with 28 months. Thank you. Welcome back. All right, take up the Saga to 2. Oh, tier 3 shook it. Thank you so much. Another Saga. And another Tamiyo. Alright, gonna Surveil again. Seems like they're considering doing something. Oops, all tap lands, I guess. Let's put that in the graveyard. Yeah, let's not play the Tamiyo if I'm kind of trying to hope to miracle a Terminus. Although if I miracle this Terminus, I'm sorry. Let's play it anyway, since if we do miracle that Terminus, we're gonna be happy enough. So we want this Saga chapter to resolve at least before we go for the miracle option. We do still have 3 Terminuses in the deck. Oh wait, sorry, we only have 2 in the deck. We shuffled 1 in, but I forgot we pitched 1 to Solitude. So we need to dig for some Prismatic Endings then. So they get a Mox Amber. They have a land to keep the constructs coming here. All right, let me look for the Terminus. Last Surveil Am. So they do take the time to kill the Tamiyo, which is good. Graveyard that. Maybe kind of cook game 1. Terminus just feels worth the Wrath the Skies in Modern Magic. I agree. Wrath the Skies would be pretty good on this board state. However, a 1 mana get rid of all creatures is certainly very good at the moment. To say that it's just worth, I think, worse is pretty reductive, to say the least. Certainly Wrath the Skies is better against the Artifact enchantment deck here. I agree. Yeah, this is a Catch Your Most world. The 1 mana get rid of all creatures is very different from Wrath the Skies. And I think certainly is still a potent effect. We are going to have to hit a Terminus off this clue token. And that's the fun part of Miracles, too. Need a miracle. Wrong J. Jace first Jace. Okay, down a game. Got a lot of sideboard cards, though. Also, them drawing 3 sagas there. Kind of tough. So I don't want the Solitudes. I do want my Prismatic Endings. I don't think I'm going to be bringing in the first Purge. You can bring it in against Breach. To exile Breach, but I think we have enough other tools here. I think I do want to keep in the Teferis. No Consigns. I'm just trying to think how we need to be hedging against the Saga token plan. I wonder if like you want one dress down. Oh yeah, sorry, I board out the Logic Knot when I bring in the Rest in Pieces. And then trim on Tamiyo when I bring in the Stony. Alright, let's do this. Saga Harbinger, very good for the Saga game plan. I think it's can be okay. Like it's just very slow against the Mox deck, right? Like the Mox deck is capable of making a Saga token before a Harbinger comes down, even if I'm on the play. And you have to have it before the Saga tokens get made, where like other answers to Saga tokens can, you could draw top deck later. Logic Knot really the second best option after Counterspell. Yeah, Logic Knot rules, dude. Logic Knot is great. In this deck with very few graveyard synergies, the first Logic Knot is like about as good as the 5th Counterspell, and even has real upsides over Counterspell. It cannot be Spell Snared. If you're playing against Mill, like you turn off Drown in the Lock and those kind of effects, it's like that card rules. I almost always play the first copy in Miracles, and it's almost always been something I basically never regretted it. I think having a card that shuts off their go-to game plan against full control deck is quite strong. Well, it can do that. The problem is like I would think that I would just want Terminus and Supreme Verdict instead of Harbinger, but you could be right. It's like it just like this is like the same conversation we always have with Magus and Harbinger is, yeah, you can get a blowout, but it can also end up doing nothing. It's just kind of tough to have like such a high variance card. What's the actual win condition? Jace the Mind Sculptor. I think I'm going to Surveil before I do anything, which is a little bit weird, right? A Brainsurge. We'll find another appending for the needle, I think. Famous last words, maybe. There's the Saga. There's a grinding station. Yeah, I'm definitely always down to meet people at events. Happens pretty often. Definitely come say hi. We also have like Teferi and Jace, which can bounce tokens too. Okay. So I want to go this turn probably Prismatic Ending Needle, play second Wrist in Peace, hold up Counterspell. And so the following turn I could go Jace minus and pending. The problem is I need all of these cards, and then I may have to just shuffle one of these away. I need the second Rest in Peace because they're about to haywire might me. Oh, sorry. We just get rid of the opt. I don't know why I'm. For some reason, I was forgetting about my draw stuff. Okay, so Prismatic Ending here. My opponent's already used a Pithing Needle. Also, if they just Pithing Needle my Delta, that's probably going to end up being okay. Okay, we're hoping they don't have a second Saga here. So them going for Bauble means they're maybe just abandoning their Breach plan for the most part. So my top card is Opt, which isn't like the worst card to draw here. I do certainly... they have the second Saga. I do certainly like the idea of fishing for a Terminus here. So let's see if this resolves. Gonna not fetch in a turn because of the Jace, of course. I guess, if the Jace dies, then maybe I will. Kind of unlikely that they have too many Unholy Heats post-board. Don't see Urza too often. It pops up every once in a while out of Breach. Certainly a cool piece of tech. So there's another Jace. Let's go to Brainstorm. Oops, all Jaces. Yeah, I mean, I've been playing Urza in my I've been playing Urza and I've been liking Urza too. Well, Entreat the Angels is just like so completely unplayable. It's like, what are we even talking about? I wish that wasn't the case. I've qualified for a Pro Tour with Entreat the Angels, but it's like, let's move on from that one, I think. Yeah, I probably needed to not board out as many Terminuses as I did. We have 2 Terminus and a Verdict. We have a Surveil towards one of those here. I guess Teferi would keep me alive too. Solitude would keep me alive. They didn't spin the Urza. They also cracked that Bauble, which makes me not dead on board anymore. Could be worth something. Spin the Urza. They reveal Malevolent Rumble. I'll just go ahead and counterspell that. Okay, deal. They take a Breeding Pool off of the Saga here. Then they play a Tamiyo. And let's jump with our bird. Still at 11 somehow. I will be main phase cracking the clue since I could card cast a Terminus. Oh, those are some rough draws. This deck has a favorable Breach matchup. It should be fine. I think that it was kind of tough to run into triple Urza Saga, double Urza Saga. I think maybe I don't have enough of a game plan against that, but I think in general the matchup should be fine. Our draws were also not very good, but this is certainly kind of the dynamic of Miracles as you're playing a higher variance control deck. It's good against the card Urza Saga, and it's okay against the Amulet of Vigor, and it kind of just isn't a very effective card against almost anything else in the format. How was Barty Phoenix Catcher? We lost playing for a trophy with it. It was the one league we played. Is Teferi good in the current meta or better in Miracles than Classic Blue-White? I think Teferi is fine. I think that it is it's a card that I want access to a couple copies of in Miracles. I'd be less likely to play it in Jeskai because of the Flage occupying the slot on the mana curve. Yeah, I think just you want some Teferis. Yeah, Brainstone is unplayable. We have Brainsurge now. March is much better versus Breach because instant speed. I mean, it is okay against the card Breach. It's not a super efficient answer to it. You're either 2-for-1ing yourself, or you are spending 3 mana. Neither of those is super good. They're both kind of fine. There's also like the big issue of like against Breach, like they can like just getting rid of the Breach is also not usually that good of a game plan. It's okay, like it stops you from dying, but like if I'm gonna go, if they're gonna play Underworld Breach and they're gonna like cast him a level and rumble immediately, and I go 1 mana March, exile a card, exile the Breach. I have 3-for-1 myself in that situation, right? So I don't think that that's the most appealing exchange. Don't hate the snare here. Let's keep the snare. Is this your list or Yellowhead's list? I was watching him play for a few weeks. Marsh is the only thing I see cut. I built this version. I did like look a lot at Gab's list before working on this one. Gab wasn't playing Tamiyo, right? Was Gab playing Logic Knot? Was Gab playing this mana base? It wasn't playing this mana base. I'm just saying he wasn't. I'm playing fourth Jace. My sideboard is a little different too. It's probably like 3 or 4 cards different, maybe 5. Gab is playing Wandering Emperor. Gab is playing Teferi, Hero of Dominaria. We're like pretty different, I think. Have I updated the Jeskai control list with Oculus? I was working on it last night a little bit. I was trying to like maybe play Tamiyo and Imri and Mox Opal and Mishra's Bauble. I think, there's been a lot of people saying, like, after Breach is banned, there will be other decks to adopt this package. So I was thinking maybe you could play it there, where you could, like, Imri over Flage, maybe escape Flage really quickly with the artifact mana. But there was definitely some awkwardness with the list. I've been shocked with how good 5 mana Teferi was for me. That's interesting. I'm not rating that card super highly still, but I could be wrong. All right, we're looking to draw Teferi, Hero of Dominaria. Sorry. Teferi, Time Raveler, Jace the Mind Sculptor, Terminus, or Solitude here. A lot of good draws. I went 8-1-1 and 10k Charlotte with Teferi if my deck card was great. Cool. That's good feedback. I've never been a huge fan of it in the Miracles deck in general, but maybe that's me being a little too picky. Let's let this go. I can Prismatic Ending it, and I'm also kind of want to set up, like, if I draw Teferi, I can go bounce plus pending. I was planning on doing though. Yeah, I think you have to be a more traditional control deck for Teferi Hero. If Teferi Hero is good again, it's pretty exciting. There was definitely a time where I felt like it was the better card than Jace. I think we have to counterspell this, by the way. Doesn't feel great to have to do that. I was looking more at Keth's combo yesterday for comments. Realized you don't even need Grinding Station Tamiyo like the 5-list cycling. Yeah, you don't need to play Grinding Station. Since cycling Mox is infinite mana. Wait, it's infinite mana? Don't you have to reactivate Kethis eventually, or no? Bright Glass finds your Mox Walking Ballista, so do you even need to add 4th, 5th color? Wait, you can't cast Bright Glass though with Kethis. All right, certainly gasping for air here. All right, not dead. So I chump block with Tamiyo. And then what, I go Jace bounce, and my Jace dies to Phoenix. That doesn't exactly feel like a winning line. Don't know if we have a winning line here. But yeah, I mean, I would think you would want to play Tamiyo in Kethis combo because the card is just so good and synergizes so much. But for me, I think I'm going to wait on this combo till the BNR. Okay, so I got two options here. Also, my opponent has a Bowmaster or a Bolt because they didn't flashback looting, so that's bad. I think I'm gonna high roll. I don't think minus on the hollow one is a winning line. We'll just see if they have the third Bowmaster. Yeah, third Bowmaster. And if they do, you know, we're dead. Tarfire target me. I'm at 1, so I'm looking for a Solitude underneath the pending. Oh, or I guess or a Tamiyo. The next BNR is October 31st. What about one Trim off color to surveil to get third color pending? Well, I have a Steam Vents instead. I think I tend to prefer for my third color to be able to be entered untapped, since when you need that third color, you need that third color, you know. Yeah, I think I just let this resolve so I can try to... Oh, no, this flips to Tamiyo and I die. Okay. Ooh, close one. So we're 22 cards deep without seeing a Terminus. The top card of my library is Opt. Underneath that is Prismatic Ending. If I find... So I get to see 2 fresh cards here. If that card is Terminus, if that card is Solitude, we're in good shape. If I Opt, I can see 4 cards instead of 2. But for me to find Terminus, I would need to find another Opt or a Brainsurge. Terminus, we still die to Phoenix. No, we would Terminus at instant speed after attacks are declared. Okay, so if I draw the Prismatic Ending, I could also find Tamiyo. I think I'm just gonna Brainstorm without casting the Opt first. Okay, so we did find a Solitude. Unfortunately, we don't have enough mana to or cards available, maybe is the better way to phrase this, to do both, but this is a nice find. Should I play the Plains this turn? It seems fine. Phoenix gets tucked to... No, it falls off, and it becomes a creature. Phoenix is very good. Our backup deck is playing Detectives Phoenix and Arclight's Phoenix. They didn't flashback the looting first, so maybe my Solitude lives. Might minus all my Solitude. Okay, they cycle Street Wraith. Kind of a shocker they just didn't do that first. Maybe forgot about Solitude. Another hollow one. I draw Opt. So I can just bounce this to live, but then my Jace dies. I think, let's go see what this card is. Another pending. Is my Steam Vents in the yard? It is in the yard. Kind of unlucky. 29 cards deep without seeing a Terminus. I believe. Sometimes you just gotta believe in miracles. Oh my gosh, I put it back wrong. Fuck, no! I put it back wrong. Sorry about that. With the Purge too. Yeah, you also need to put the Miracle on top, it seems. Alright, hand's a bit better. Pretty good one. Hey, Spike, would Brainstorm be okay in Modern? It would be the best card immediately. Listen, I said that about looting too. Can we say that about Brainstorm? I think we can say that about Brainstorm. They took Counterspell. Interesting. It's a silly thing to like think about Brainstorm being in Modern. It will never happen. It should never happen. -2 Netherglyphs. The Bowmaster means a lot of damage, but then we get a clear board with Terminus up, so I don't think it's so bad. This card's a Dothy Voidwalker, so we're going to get Bowmastered here, and that's okay. We're going to be at 10 with a Counterspell up and an empty board and a Rest in Peace in play. Oh, we didn't even get... it didn't even happen. Look, I've learned... How did they not have Bowmaster? If they discard Dothy Voidwalker here, like what the fuck is that? What is their hand? I just want some Spike Stone Laborers. Yeah, basically every day I'm like, is today going to be the day that I actually test the Aether Spark off stream? And it has yet to be that day, but maybe it'll happen. One really nice thing about Terminus, in defense of Terminus versus Wrath Disguise, is your ability to be really in on like the 2 mana enchantment hate cards. For some reason I thought that was the 3rd Voidwalker. I guess not. You have a Bolt? What's going on? Might be a Hall win con too. Yeah, we did 5-0 with Aether Spark Con. I haven't played with it though. Yeah, but when I keep thinking about Aether Spark, I keep thinking that I want to be like blue-white Stoneblade so that I can like put Aether Spark on my Esper Sentinel and plus to make my Esper Sentinel bigger, and then draw cards, and then have those cards be interactive spells, and then continue to draw cards. But I don't know. I don't know if it's ever going to make the cut. Oh, right, it's Terminus one. That's right. We could Prismatic Ending this. I think I'm just going to say, you're dead next turn. Let's leave the Tamiyo back too. Yeah, Fervent Champion doesn't like synergize with Aether Spark, so probably not Fervent Championing. Is it me or your stream starting sooner? My sweet European friend. There was daylight savings time. I wish we were always in this time and it never changed. But yeah, daylight savings. I consider Colonnade. So I'm not a big fan of overloading on the creature lands. I'd like just rather play more surveil lands. If I was going to play another creature land, it probably would be another copy of Hall of the Storm Giants. If I wasn't going to play a copy of Hall of the Storm Giants, I'd probably play Restless Anchorage over Celestial Colonnade. Okay, to game 3 we go. I'm not a musician. This is my fiance's music room I've been streaming out of for a few months. I'm fixing up the stream room upstairs, starting to make some progress. Picked out paint yesterday. One? Just one, okay. Could deal with just one. Let's hold up the snare and the ability to maybe like surveil and start digging for terminuses. Seems correct to keep. Just this game is just going to be all about a timely Terminus. Only one Rockets Theater. I'm a pretty big proponent of 2 Surveil lands in Hollow 1. You just have so many graveyard synergies. They only have 3 cards in their hand. I think we can keep it. It's a little greedy. A miracle. I think I'm also going to be playing around Bowmaster instead of playing the Rest in Peace right now. Seems likely they have it, and if I don't get to snare it, then I'm pretty cooked right now. Discards a Goblin Lord, discards a Swamp. 3 cards in their hand after that. They cycle a Street Wraith. 3 cards now. Can you draw another Goyf? That would be awesome. Yeah, I'm excited to circle back to the landfall aggro deck once the 0/1 that gets a counter when a land enters. Does anyone know when that card comes out? There's a Graveyard Detective's Phoenix here. Alright, so we're gonna lose probably the Rest in Peace, maybe the Jace. Immediately took the Jace. July, okay, so a little while then. Wait, April 4th? Dang it. Nobody knows, huh? Yeah, I think it's a Final Fantasy card, not the next set. Wait, I didn't know there was another set coming out April 4th. That's pretty soon. And we haven't seen. How many previews do we have for whatever Dragons is? Oh, Dragons, that's the one with the... Okay, I remember now. We have the Mox Dragon. Or Dragon Mox. Ultimate Guard, thanks for the raid with Gab. Yeah, we're trying out some miracles inspired by our hero. Thanks for the raid. A little heavy on the fetches. I think the fetches are just so good. I'm not personally too worried about it. Might Jace minus here. Probably Solitude instead. Do you think Bobble could be good or too much air? I mean, Bobble's better if you're playing more fetches like this. It's better if you're playing Tamiyo. I think Tamiyo is really good in the archetype. I think you would mostly want to play it if you felt like it was better than Opt, which with so many fetches it could kind of just function like a better Opt. Probably worth trying. Been happy with Mystigate? I haven't been too happy with Mystigate in the past, but maybe I'll circle back to it. Yeah, but I think I really want to play 4 Surveil lands. That's something that I think is pretty important to play at least 4. Which makes you want to play more fetches, I think, than you were. Be Bobble plus Updown said, yeah, I think it's tough to do both, but yeah, I'm not sure. It just feels so difficult to include it. You don't have to play 4 either, too. It's possible the first Opt is just, or the first Bobble is just usually pretty good. And you basically never ever want to have 2 Bobbles in your hand ever, but you almost never mind having 1. It's kind of a weird dynamic. I think I am actually just gonna go kind of aggro here. Yeah, I saw that you had the Rest in Peace main. I do agree it's good against most things. It has some tension with Tamiyo though, so I decided to sideboard them. And then usually when I bring a Tamiyos, or bring a Rest in Peace, I cut some Tamiyos, but maybe that's not a good direction to go. I'm not sure. Okay, you can keep that. Yeah, I agree that the Rest in Peace is pretty nice in the main. Bolts me. So there's another Goyf mystery card. Yeah, I agree. That's how we lost round 1 was to Saga out of Breach. I thought that just the sweepers were going to be enough against it, but I agree that it feels like we need a little bit more. Maybe play Wear Tears on the side. Alright, that'll lock it up. I'm just gonna go ahead and bottom that because I'm not trying to gamble. In today's meta, wouldn't there be a case for rather Orm's Chant main? I mean, yeah, a lot of people have had success with main deck Orm's Chant. I think that's fine. Alright, later, Gab. Thanks for chatting. Really appreciate it. Hope you have a good day. Alright, gonna knock our opponent's deck of the table off the table pretty quick here. Up 4 minutes on the clock. Colonnade would be good here. Would it? I feel like it would do nothing. I wouldn't be activating it if I had Colonnade. Kind of just forgetting that this Jace is, combination card advantage engine, win condition.
What's up? It's me, your friend Aspiring Spike.
Yeah, I really want to. People keep saying Teferi Hero is good again. I'm cautiously optimistic, but I might cast Teferi Hero off stream. Spike, I'm looking to play a Thoughtcast list for the GP this weekend. Any advice? Yeah, I have been playing this mono blue Urza build, and I think that build is quite good. I played it in a challenge last weekend, and I think we did like drop it either 3-2 or 4-2. I think it was 4-2. No, I think it was 3-2. But I've been liking the deck we trophied with it last week. I would recommend it. You can find it in the Mox You can find it on YouTube. I think it's better than the blue-white build we were playing, by the way. Alright, so not going to counter something that's committing into my Terminus, of course. Urza deck, where, when? On this stream last week. We trophied with it last week, played in challenge last week. It's like, it's weird for me, like the solution to playing like the mono blue or like the blue-white, like these mid-range Opal decks has just been to play the card Counterspell. Just play the card Counterspell. It's it solves basically every problem besides your Eldrazi matchup. But it's just like, oh, you were like your worst your biggest problems were like big splashy hate cards, Breach combo and Titan were all just like such big problems for these archetypes. And just playing the card Counterspell has been such immense help, and then like going Urza into Counterspell has been ridiculously good too. Do you value Surveillance or Field of Ruins? Yeah, I'm really, really high on the Surveillance of this archetype. I would say that's maybe even like the main thing I'm trying to do differently from Gab. I mean, this is gonna be a lot of damage, but I think we have to Brainsurge this turn. Interesting. I like Force of Negation main instead of Shell. Maybe Counterspell's always the answer. Yeah, I mean you're so much weaker to Titan if you just are in Force of Negation, but you can. Do I want to get rid of the Archive or do I want to get rid of the second Jace? I think I'll keep the second Jace. I very much dislike Metallic Rebuke. Rebuke is pretty good in that archetype. As me being a longtime hater of that card too, I can say that, I think. Another thing about Rebuke too is it's like a big part of my dislike for it always stemmed from the fact that it like people would just like they would just have those 4 Metallic Rebuke and the sideboard of Affinity forever, and they would just board it in every matchup, which I'm like just main deck it, I think. How do you feel about Fleshraker Breach deck in retrospective in comparison to the colorless version? The color. So I mean, I'm a little bit confused which colorless deck you're talking about, like the Dice Factory deck, because we had a lot of Dice Factory builds too, especially with our brief love for Rings of Bright Hearth. So I still do love Rings of Bright Hearth. I still want to keep going on that card eventually. But I don't know, that's. I think that deck is kind of indicative of what just happens on this channel sometimes, where that Eldrazi Breach deck was good. It was performing good. We were having success with it. It was a deck I liked, but because how I structure the stream is, I just need to keep moving. I just need to keep trying new stuff. I haven't played it in a while, and I can't tell you how good or bad I think it is. The colorless Mystic Forge card in Eldrazi. Yeah, I mean, I just played so many different builds of that one too. I can't really tell you, I think. And so we're going to go Teferi, bounce the Bombardment, hold up Counterspell. Going to try not to Counterspell anything but the Flage. Could maybe have kept the Fetch for Jace. I think it's better to just Graveyard. That's a good pickup. Can maybe force the Bombardment. Probably will do that. Is a stream structure where you try your most competitive decks in the challenge. Yeah, I should probably talk about this more, but yeah, the general structure of the stream is that during the week we're brewing, we're trying new things. I'm testing the stuff off stream, and we are talking about ideas, and we're showing off the ideas. And then when we play in challenges, we're trying to play like the best of the week or the best of like the last couple weeks, and see how they run in a tournament environment. Okay, so they're hasting the Flage. I miss when you grind the same decks for a week or so. The format's probably better for viewership. I don't know. It's also just better for me. I just really get so bored at the idea of playing the same deck for a whole week. Like when I've done this for like so many years at this point, it's just like I need the variety always. Do Arena of Glory #2 plus something? They have something else? Thankfully not. So I know I have a bad card on top. I think I just let it. The Ragavan hit me. They don't play too many bolts usually, just an archive, right? Yeah. Okay, I like being able to keep Snare up in addition to Solitude here. Read with the 43 months. Thank you. Welcome back. There have been a few times, like when I think that we have a new build of a deck that like is really interesting and has like a lot of potential and needs a lot of attention. I have spent a few days on it, like Nautilus Nadu is an example. The Rings of Bright Hearth. I'm still not even done with that, but it does happen sometimes. So any white card lets me live. But it might mess up and for some reason target something else. Okay, so we're at 2. My opponent's got 2 cards in their hands. One of them's the Basic Plains. They have 2 Flages in the graveyard. Basic Plains is one of the only cards that's good for us here. They are thinking about something else. Okay, well, I was gonna probably bounce the Static Prison. I might still bounce the Static Prison. It's probably incorrect. If we pitch first, we get to keep a Solitude. Sorry. I haven't played a lot of Control lately. Another pretty critical mistake here. All right, we have another Tamiyo. Let's just keep the snare. Okay, it seems like they're not playing another Surveil land. The bad news is they're one card in the yard away from getting me, so let's dig as deep as we can. So is this game going to come down to, does my opponent draw a fetch land or Galvanic Discharge? I wish I could Jace plus and manipulate the library with the fetch. Doesn't seem to work. There's no way for me to go second Jace into like untap blue Spores counterspells. I think I'm just going Hall tapped pass. I also can't Spell Snare anything, or I lose the game. Also, I think you should play 3 Surveil lands of Boros for whatever that's worth. Looks like they drew Galvanic Discharge, which I'm dead to. Is it Ragavan? I'm not dead to Ragavan. Not dead to this either because of the Tamiyo plus. But very good top deck for them. WT with 33. Thank you, welcome back. Alright, dead. So if we had that Solitude in play, our life total's a lot higher. I don't know that we can survive the Flage attack here, though. But here's my tentative sideboard plan for this matchup. I don't think I'm bringing in Rest in Peace. Yeah, first Rest in Peace is probably better than the first Jace. It's a bit awkward with Tamiyo, but I think it's okay. Harbinger may be good against Boros Synergy. No, there's come on. I know if you have a Harbinger in your sideboard, your chatters are always. It doesn't matter what the matchup is, they're going to suggest bringing it in. But this is a step too far. Okay, gonna purge the Ragavan. How's the Eldrazi matchup? Is it winnable? It's the worst matchup by a lot. With the Harbingers and the side and the, obviously the mandatory consigns, you could win sometimes, but it's pretty bad. Do you suggest ramp or aggro Eldrazi? When we talk about aggro Eldrazi, if you're talking about like a red line breaker build, those builds are quite bad in my opinion. So I can't Prismatic Ending and hold up Counterspell. I think I'm just gonna plus try to keep them off of land. Yeah, let's go ahead and put that on the bottom. Okay, they found a fetch land anyways. Gonna be pretty tough for them to kill my Jace, though. It's a good one. They have a Flage to discard. They have 2 Flages to discard. I'm seeing a lot of Linebreaker builds. They're just worse. I think those builds suck. I think they've never been good in the entire time MH3's been out. People like keep deluding themselves into playing them. In my opinion, I strongly encourage you to stay away from the Linebreaker builds of Eldrazi. I do think that you don't have to play the super stock builds of Eldrazi. There are lots of other versions that are kind of compelling that I've been working on. You know, we've trophied like at least once, but I think maybe twice with the Aetherworks Marvel build. I think the really ramp focused build with Overgrowth and then like ways to untap your Overgrowth lands. Those builds have been quite good. And what's compelling about both of those is that they're good against the more traditional Eldrazi decks as well. They tend to have a favorable matchup there. And then they also are kind of faster in general, so tend to be a fan. So I'm drawing Solitude, which I think we're going to be holding up this turn. I played Linebreaker last night, and it was pretty scary. I mean, they have draws that could win them the game. They're just pretty inconsistent. Of course they could win the game. I wonder if they like give me the Jace back ever and just attack it. Seems like they're thinking about it. So if I find Prismatic Ending, it's good. I still have 3 Terminus in deck. Let's probably save the opt. I'm going to attack here, I think. It's maybe a little awkward if they like let the Static Prison die, then attack the Jace, but I don't think I need to worry too much about that. So this is going down to 0 energy, probably. Yeah, I think if they give it back to me, like we still have some outs off the opt, but if they're doing that, I get another attack with the Solitude too. Not sure. Could have let them attack to kill an elemental. Life neutral, right? Neutral and life gain with life link. Yeah, it is life neutral for. Oh no, it's life negative because we take 3 from the Flage and then we take 2 from the Spiral, 1 from the token, and we gain 3. So we do take 3 more damage with that line. But and it's -1 token. Should be nice if they would cast it too. It doesn't seem like they're going to do that anytime soon, though. Get a Ragavan, which is pretty good. Also, if I reveal a Terminus, they can sack the Ranger Captain to keep their Seasoned Pyromancer around. So we did reveal a Terminus. Interesting that they let me cast it. Of course, like me having it in my hand is not super good for them. Just an interesting decision point. So I get Jace back. There it is. Ragavan, 2 mystery cards. I need a snare target. Opponent did cast 1 bombardment earlier this game, I guess. Can you not cast it if they sack the captain? Yeah, if they sack the captain, it's not possible for you to cast it. So I have 3 counterspells left in my deck, and I have 2 Terminus, but I think I'm just going to let this go. Hopefully this is a Johnny. Okay. Take it. Yeah, I can only assume that my opponent is scared of... Okay, we can counter the Ragavan next turn. I can only assume in that spot my opponent is scared of me just hard casting the Terminus later, but I don't think that makes that much sense. Okay, also weird sequencing. They could have got an energy here. Oh, right, the hasted here. No fear, brainstorm. Yeah, I guess we can afford to shuffle away the Jace, because with double counterspell, this one will live. Yeah, we have 4 Brainsurge in the deck. They do go after me, which I think is wise. At 4 life. think we're out of Solitude, so we have one more. We don't need Solitude to win. Jace the Blind Sculptor can win games, of course. Just block with Hall. I mean, that tops me out of Counterspell. There's not a big difference between being at 4 and 3 or 3 and 2. I mean, I guess there's 4 and 3 is different, but we also just have a lot of good things to dig for here. You also have the Hall as the win con. Yeah, Tamiyo +1 also just contains the Guide of Souls passively, which is great. So my eye is still kind of bothering me today. Up on clock is crazy. You must be new here. I know you're not, but I'm not surprised to be up on clock in any game I play. Cabal with the 41 months. Thank you. Welcome back. All right, game 3 on the draw. I don't think I'm mulliganing this. It obviously isn't super good. Are there any players who think play is faster than me? LSV comes to mind as someone who is at least as fast. Yeah, I remember being kind of annoyed when I was up on time playing the Dark Pool. See, this makes you want to try Modern. Nice. Yeah, I do think it's a good time to be playing these kind of decks. I'm going to snare this. Not a very good turn to play Tamiyo when they could just flage it. I feel a Ragavan, so better turn to play the Tamiyo now. I'm gonna graveyard this. Kind of close. I really want to find a Terminus or a Brainsurge or a Jace for the Terminus. So they're not dashing Ragavan. Draven Charm? So I don't have any snares left in my deck, funny enough. But it seems like just solituding the Ranger Captain is a pretty good choice here. Yeah, we could draw first, and then we could potentially pitch a different white card. But I think there's like no chance I'm not pitching the Terminus. Like what white card would I draw that I would pitch? It would just be another Terminus would be the only one I would choose. I don't have a snare I could draw into, so it seems better to save the clue for a possible Terminus on their turn. They'll reach the 56 months. Thank you for being cool. I'm in Japan at the moment. Need me to grab anything? No, I'll actually be there later this year. Thanks. Hope you have fun. Also, get off the stream. Go enjoy your vacation. Ban no beats until you're back. Back home. Did opponent just not take 3 life? I don't think that their 3 life matters at all, right? They sacked the Ranger Captain, right? Yeah, it should be better for them to just stop me from playing anything else this turn. Also, and can put a card in the yard for Flage. All right, so go Terminus shopping here. Counterspell is interesting. It's 12 a.m. trying to fall asleep. Okay, that's allowed then. Okay, I'm at 10. I allow it. I think next turn being able to go crack, clue, flip Tamiyo, counterspell up seems pretty important. Solitude will likely be able to hold it down here. Untap Sacred Foundry. That's probably bad for me. I think they have a static prison, maybe? The way they just tapped a white mana kind of implies that. Wait, why would they shock, though? So Dash Ragavan. They're saying that they have a 3 or 4 mana card as the one mystery card. So let's give them the energy and the life. Kind of hope it's just Ranger Captain. Cool. Although I guess they get the Ocelot Pride and they get enough energy to start doing stuff, so maybe a little less cool, but manageable enough, I think. Oh, though they also get like their I guess if I draw Terminus now, the Ranger Captain doesn't do anything. They have Kitty's Blessing exactly. Ugh, I think this was bad. Better lucky than good, huh? Although, let's consider if it's better to flip the Tamiyo, hold up Counterspell. So if I flip Tamiyo, she goes to 4 loyalty, and then my opponent can kill the Tamiyo, but that comes at the cost of all of the damage they can deal this turn. So yeah, it seems better to do that, because now if they just play any creature, then we get to sweep that up in the verdict, and then we get to hold up Counterspell, potentially post verdict too. Or we could Counterspell like a showdown this turn. They Ranger Captain us next turn? Do they do that? Maybe. Is that so bad though? Do we just Supreme Verdict in 2 turns instead? Vadosi with the 23 months. Thank you. Welcome back. Opponent is ignoring the Tamiyo, by the way. Like, if they ignore Tamiyo and then sack Ranger Captain, I just plus the Tamiyo again out, and we're good. Vadosi 23, Monkey 20, Max with the 37. Hope y'all are doing well. They're main phase sacking the Ranger Captain. I guess I opt. Oops, no, they're gonna kill me with bombardment maybe, or they're gonna resolve something good. Okay, I'm not dead. I get to go verdict with counterspell up. But I'm gonna be at 3 life points. Not the most life points ever. Should I plus the Tamiyo first? I think it's plus the Tamiyo first. I think we're trying to ultimate. So good news is that they top deck Flage, we can rest in peace. Your turn. I think you get a minus Tamiyo for pending. Could have. Is that better? Genuinely asking, not sure. Life total will be higher. But my Tamiyo would be dead, and then I would just kind of have a counterspell, and could have been better. Worth talking about. Alright, so we have a counterspell up, and we're about to ultimate this Tamiyo, so I do think we're going to win this game. Obviously, them drawing a land this turn is a big part of that. I drew another counterspell without the Tamiyo. It's funny. Huh, I didn't draw Jace. Can I Logic Knot? Looks like I can't Logic Knot. Alright. Could be like one dress down too, but like, I mean, it's like okay against Titan. And besides like other Urza Saga decks, you're never bringing it in. I would probably edge towards Wear Tear in that spot. Okay, so Misty is probably Breach. I do think having the instant speed draw spell is pretty good against them. Eldrazi. The matchup we definitely don't want to see. Let's see if we can cheese them. The 3 Harbinger and all counterspells are pointing for Amulet. Yeah, I think we're probably good enough against Amulet. I don't think that Consign is like all that good against them. Or so you said counterspell's not Consign. Yeah. If this Plains was a blue source, I would be kind of interested in just playing the Tamiyo. And then like maybe we can flip the Tamiyo off the Brainsurge or the Jace and then pop off. But it isn't, so let's not. Yeah, you know, it's kind of funny. In this archetype, some people are attached to like Path to Exile and Cryptic Command and Celestial Colonnade, and I make fun of them. And then, but you could just as easily make fun of me for always being so attached to Counterbalance. I'd be kind of surprised at that K command because they didn't cast it when I was tapped out, but what can you do if that's the case? Like, they didn't even think about it. Okay, 2 on top, 1 on the bottom. Yeah, they're playing around Force, of course. Absolutely, that's what's happening. So my opponent's going to cast Worldbreaker, Sack Sanctum, get Emrakul. It does feel like I need to... I have enough counterspells in my hand. I do think I need to start casting the Jace. Or sorry, plussing the Jace, rather. Wouldn't you rather your third color be Breeding Pool to match Tamiyo's aesthetic? Well, Steam Vents is what I tend to prefer, because if my opponent has Yava, Maya, or Urborg, I could Prismatic Ending for 4. Certainly a kind of minor a minor decision point or whatever, but that's usually my rationale. Don't they just minus the Emrakul back to their hand? Well, I'm going to counter the Emrakul, so it shouldn't be in play. I think I could just be in a spot where, depending on what happens, like they just can't even do anything to me with the Emrakul. I actually kind of like them keeping the Rumble, because there's a good chance that they end up casting the Rumble first, and I can Force of Negation it, and I can Force of Negation it, and they just like can't do anything this turn. Okay, so I guess as long as we don't draw a land, an untapped land, they can't legend rule my Jace. What is this Emrakul even going to do? Okay, they found the untapped land. So, not the worst. Not the best. They probably minus my Tamiyo? I don't know. Thinking about the chatter. TZ, we literally cannot win this game. We should pack it up. How you feeling now? Do you have to gift 5 subs if you comment we should pack it up? We literally can't win this game and we win anyways? Is that a stream rule? Not counted my victory quite yet here. They cast Brainsurge. Let's go. And they're trying to force. They can't force. Let's go. With this guy, we'll get 5 subs. Okay, cool. Obviously, it's not a lock yet, but I think we're actually above 50% to win this game. They can put Counterspell on top, and then they can surveil it away. They have a Rumble in their hand. We have this Force 4. What's the distance point for ending as a 4 over December to March? Parentheses, which can scale up and hit Saga. I hate March. I think that card sucks, is the short answer. I just greatly dislike that card. I don't think it's very good. Okay, they can also pitch the Solitude. No, they couldn't have Logic Knotted the Brainsurge. They had max 4 mana that's 5 mana to do. They shouldn't have exiled my lands, and they could have had a better Emrakul turn. What a punt. So they minus the Tamiyo on Brainsurge, which is interesting. And then they plus on me. And they get rid of Force of Negation. Interesting. Interesting that they choose to plus the Jace, because that's like... I don't want to use the word time walk necessarily. So I'll probably be getting the Counterspell back to my hand. Keep a Talisman. So if I Counterspell, and I think I will Counterspell a Rumble if they cast a Rumble. I'm going to Brainsurge first so I can shuffle this Jace and maybe the Steam Vince away. I guess we keep the backup Jace. They must have another Emrakul? No, why does them casting the card we know about indicate them having another Emrakul? So I guess I should have plussed first so I could see if that snare would have been good. Let's just graveyard bottom it though. Pretty good. They keep a card on top. You see a minus... Wait, we've minus 12 to at least once today. I think we've already done it twice. Arcbound with the 46 months. Thank you. Welcome back. Paint room, look at me. I'm the stream room now. I bought paint for the upstairs stream room. I'm planning on painting most of it today. And then there's a good chance I'm like... I think we'll only be in here until like the end of next week is my current timeline. I posted that when they plus the Jace. I see. I mean, it doesn't seem like they have... I mean, it is possible they're sandbagging Emrakul. And that would stink, but... We're all in here. You can keep a land on top. They have another K command? If they cast it now, that's good for me, because it would definitely be better for them to cast it on their turn. Oh, they return Worldbreaker. Okay, that's fine. Vayul with the 3 months. Hope you're doing well. They play Ghost Quarter. Worldbreaker. Every time I tune in, you're up multiple minutes of clock. Yeah, I mean, I'm always up on clock. It doesn't really matter the archetype. Spawn in their hand. I guess they just drew it. Okay, so they have 2 cards in their library here, or their hand, which is about to become their library. It doesn't exactly seem like those 2 cards are good. They have 8 points of power. Do I still have a second basic planes in the deck? I do, so that would let me block with the Hall next turn. Yeah, so let me think about Jason Summon. So if I go take 8, they go down to 1 card, then I go minus, minus, then they replay both, and then they go down to 0 cards, and I die. They also have the Ghost Quarter for the Hall. Yeah, so I can't be on the Hall plan. If they attack the here, yeah, I think I need to Jace Brainstorm. Can't pending the Mycospawn. Might as well just base about the work of this turn. Well, this seems to be a losing line by my calculations. Huh. Well, obviously we're keeping this, but it is a little bit weird with since it like puts cards in their deck. Why not bounce World Breaker? I counted it out on stream. I lose if I bounce World Breaker. They have enough mana to replay both of their creatures next turn, right? Do they not have enough? Yeah, they could just replay both, and then if I bounce, I'm still like dead, and I'm losing lands too. So I still will need to find an answer to a creature, and it seems like I'll want to do that while I have mana. Pack this one in. Could not possibly win this game. Let's fucking go. And TZ making good with the 5-pack. Thank you, thank you. Is it Recipe's good against Emrakul? I don't know about good against Emrakul as much as delays the inevitable. We're also a Harbinger Consign deck, so it seems like those are likely better tools. I think I'm going to cut a J since I've gone up on my curve. I think I do want 2 Solitude for Pending. No, Pending's just good against them. They're a Utopia Sprawl Talisman deck. It's just good against them, I think. Alright, let's go. If you got a gifted stuff from TZ, make sure to thank them. Let's go. Yeah, I think you could have a Terminus, I agree. Let's just try this build. It's a bit awkward to be, I think, in on Terminus when we boarded the Harbingers. If one of these Harbingers was a second land, we'd be pretty happy. Let's go to 6, I think. My opponent keeps 7. Put back the Force on the mulligan. Reveals Devourer. Don't think we had Eldrazi players. I mean, even if they sequence that Emrakul turn better, I don't know that they're like they didn't have that many options, you know. They didn't have that many options. So I guess I should have played the Delta because now I can't get planes and surveil this turn. Reveal a card. Maybe a fast game too. I don't think we can afford to keep that. It's pretty close with the Brainsurge in our hand. I think they're going to K command here, though. Why do you think so few people play Chalice as cyber card against Breach? Chalice for 0 on turn 1 seems so good when it doesn't tax your mana as a hate piece. So I think a lot of the sideboard like artifacts and enchantments that just die to Urza Saga for Haywire Might are a little bit ineffective Chalice on the play for 0 is quite good. Chalice on the draw for 0 a lot of times doesn't get to counter anything. I have 3 cards on top here. A little late, but we'll try it. So, you know, it's like when you compare this to like Stony Silence, which just like turns off the artifact cards too, but also stops Urza Saga for Haywire Might. Like the card Stony Silence is much better. Rest in Peace is a little bit more proactive as well against like Emery and Shifting Woodland. Right, we may have won this game if we were on the play, but as it stands, we'll go to game 3. How come you see so many Deafening Silences in Grafdigger's Cage? So Grafdigger's Cage stops Urza's Saga for Haywire Might, and it also stops Emery. And then Deafening Silence is more of like dual purpose, right? Deafening Silence is good against Storm and Breach, so like this is like a little bit of a hedge when you play that card. All right, I might want the 4th Jace on the play. I think actually let's go down Ops. Since we're off Terminus, I think that makes sense. I will say I checked the Von Bounce. The World Breaker did just win the game, assuming they had more creatures in hand law. I mean, I think that you're wrong. Let's count it. So they had 2 cards in their library. Next turn, assuming I don't play. Did you want me to play Jace immediately in bounce? Let's say that that's the case. I'm at 15 life. They attack me with the Myco Spawn. They play World Breaker. They're down to 1 card. They attack me for 8. They draw to 0. They attack me for 8. I'm dead. Is that not what the board was? We're at 12 life. Okay, well that's not going. I thought we were at 15, but that's not going in the direction of the just bounce World Breaker 5-head argument. I'm saying we legend rule Jace that. If they attack you, you can just minus Jace again. Okay, so what happens if my opponent... So what you're saying is instead, let Jace dive to the Myco Spawn. They attack me for 5. I go Jace minus World Breaker. They attack the Jace. They play World Breaker. I'm at 9, and then they attack me for 8. Is that it? You might be right. All right, need 1 turn without a banger here, so we can pick up Consign. They can't attack immediately. I don't feel like I was counting them attacking immediately. No, but they do get 3 attack steps, don't they? 1. They attack when they have 1 card, 0. I guess it is only 2. We did win the game. I think you might be right about the line, though. So they get Bog to stop me from getting back Consign. Good play. We now have the ability to block the Myco Spawn, which is nice. Hopefully they are on Malevolent Rumble next. We did win the game. I'm just a little annoyed I got yelled at for justing a winning play. Did I yell at you? I don't know. I don't recall yelling at you. If I yelled at you, I humbly apologize. But also, I'll say, you know, there's a lot of people in here, and they're all yelling at me too, they're suggesting all these different lines, and I counted out what I thought was this line on stream. I humbly apologize. I promise to do better. Okay. I think we're cooked. You're yelling right now? Yeah, I don't know. It's just I'm still not 100% convinced it was the right line. We did win the game. Thank you for your comments. I don't know. Currently playing a pretty stressful game. Maybe I should have attacked with Tamiyo so I could sack the clue. Draw a white card off the Tamiyo. Surveil into one. Not that we have many white cards to draw into. So I guess the line is return this Consign, sack the clue token to the Null Drifter, try to consign their play this turn, Solitude the Null Drifter, block the Myco Spawn next turn. I boarded up my Terminuses. They have 7 cards in hand, thank you. I agree we're unlikely to win this game. If that's your point. I'm not yelling at you, by the way. I'm not yelling at you. I know they have 7 cards in their hand. Not yelling, not yelling, not yelling. Kindly pointing out. Oh, sorry, I should have just sacked the Tamiyo. Not yelling, not yelling, not yelling. Couldn't you Solitude the Null Drifter consign both K Command and Solitude? Yeah, yes. My sweet Twitch chat geniuses. I could have done that. Sorry about that, not yelling. Definitely gonna play this game better. Seems like we get another Emrakul with downside at least. If this is World Breaker, it's pretty bad because they just get to keep buying them back. How good is this deck against Eldrazi? I would say this is easily the worst matchup for the deck. Do not play if your plan is to defeat Eldrazi. They have Karn and Emrakul this turn. They do get a coding, which we have Prismatic Ending for. Don't think we can beat the Karn. We're just pretty bad at dealing with an onboard Karn. If we had still had that Solitude in play with the Replicate line, which was a pretty good line, maybe had a chance. Could have had one more clue. Jeez, sorry, just asked him to be genius. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm trying not to. I'm not yelling. I'm sorry. Not yelling. Not yelling. I'll say this, that these like lines that are like couldn't you have just consigned the Solitude? Yeah, like when I make a misplay, sometimes they're phrased in a way that's like a little, I don't know how to put the word on it, but yes, there was a mistake there. I understand. I'm not yelling, not yelling. Wait, they named Force of Negation with the... I guess they knew it was in my hand from the Emrakul. Wait, am I going to be... I need to draw a land, but... Okay. It's a bit awkward because I can't keep up Counterspell. Okay, we have Prismatic Ending to deal with their Utopia Sprawls and Talismans, and we have a Steam Bin Stacks equals 3. I get that English is my first language. Was a serious question. I didn't mean to be sarcastic. I know you're coming in late when we're in the middle of a long stressful match where last round we won a very difficult game and we could have taken a slightly better line, and I miscounted that my opponent could not deal lethal if I didn't bounce Jace. And then someone accused me of yelling at them. And then someone else, it's like, it's just this chaining events. I'm just trying to play a match of Magic, guys. Please chill. It's, please stop taking it so personally when I respond and disagree with you, you know, and it's okay. Now I'm going to go back here and keep thinking about this game. Okay, so upsides of keeping the Harbinger. They cannot cast K command. They can't cast Devour. They can cast any other spell that they draw. The downside is that if they just leave this Myco Spawn back, I'm kind of cooked. They also get to resolve the coding, but I can Prismatic Ending the coding. I feel like I want to be, and this also turns off the Hall, so I think I am going to bottom this. Okay, and so now we go get one more clue token. We can flip the Tamiyo, which can contain the Myco Spawn for a little bit. Do probably want to keep just one pending. Oh no, my opponent they could just attack me twice with the Myco Spawn, ignoring the Tamiyo. Okay. Oh, right. Sorry, I forgot the Ghost Quarter, too. This game has been so tough. They have another Haymaker off the top. Do you have to counter this? Yeah, maybe we are supposed to play some Terminus. It just feels like such a bad card in the matchup in general, of course. Now I can't crack my fetch. I have to top deck my last Solitude. Oh, I can't. Sorry, this is only hitting me for 1, not 2. Okay, so we're looking for our last Solitude. And if we don't find it, we can be free from this game. I'll say this too in response to the you know, the comments like English isn't my first language and I don't understand the nuances. I understand. I don't want you to feel attacked, but you know, if English isn't your first language, it's also I think it could be good to try to think that I'm not trying to attack you. I'm not trying to be sarcastic to you. I'm not trying to yell at you. I'm trying to have a bit of banter and entertain. I'm trying to and maybe you don't understand those nuances either, you know? So I think we could all have a little bit more patience with each other, a little bit more grace, a little bit more upkeep stops on the last turn of the game. And, you know, try to assume that we're just misunderstanding rather than someone's trying to be mean to someone else. I cannot believe they have an upkeep stop here. Would Entreat the Angels help in situations like these? If Entreat the Angels was the top card of my library right now on turn 12, that'd be pretty good. But I think in general, I am not a big fan of Entreat. Well, to the 17 months. Thank you. Welcome back. Okay, good, Durrett. I'm glad that you understand it's a misunderstanding for both of us. I just wanted to make sure there were no hard feelings and that I articulated that plainly. Thank you, Walt, to the 17 months. I am going to pee and see if my opponent times out. Literally as soon as I get up, you can't. What can you do? Okay, tough match. It does seem like this game was maybe winnable. Let's finish it up 1 second.
What's up? It's me, your friend, Aspiring Spike.
Because my opponent's turn 1 play was Eldrazi Temple, and it seemed correct for me to put max pressure on them. When I did that, my opponent said, "No shot, you're this all in." I responded, let's see how this goes. When I won that game on turn 4, my opponent said, "Oh, fuck off," and then I didn't respond, or I said "lol." I did respond. I said "lol," and then after I won game 2, pretty quickly they told me to kill myself, which is very funny. I think we could keep the Tamiyo. We can try to plan to go Jace, flip Tamiyo, then Terminus the following turn. So I think that's a pretty good review for the deck so far, and I hope we get another moment like that if we play it today. Ooh, very good start here. Some mold of 5 on their part. Yeah, they're probably a non-native speaker. Sorry about that. Yeah, no inties in that build. You could play inti though. Do we think they have a Bowmaster? They're pretty F6 for someone who could have a bow. Oh, they're not F6. 5, 6, 7, 8. I am dead if they have Bowmaster. Let's go for it. So they need to make an energy to kill Tamiyo, which is great because if they do that, then they're committing more to the board. My top card is another Terminus, so I'm feeling pretty good. Alright, let's look for one of Force of Negation. Guide Pride Necro. Guide Pride Necro. They drew 21 cards here. 1 Soul Spike. That was a fast draw 21 too. Well, we're about to see a bunch more of their deck here. Just a bunch of lands and a relic, so nothing too crazy. Yeah, I agree. I think I just want to go Teferi, bounce the Necro. Yeah, you have to if you want a Reliquary Tower Necro, you have to play the tower after the Necro. One thing I don't like about this is I don't have a white card for Solitude, and I might want to be able to get rid of a Shieldred, but I don't know that they even play Shieldred, so probably okay. Obviously, you never played Necro in a deck with Reliquary Tower. I don't think that's necessarily obvious. I've actually seen people do it too, but I'm not exactly sure how good it is, I suppose. Whoa! Sack the Solitude to Phyrexian Tower! Okay, their deck's pretty sick. I think our opponent broke it. Are they just going to immediately draw 10? I mean, I do have this Teferi in play. Can they go down to 6? I remember you said Grief was banned inconsistently for fun reasons. Do you think Modern is healthier without it? Yeah, I do. I do think that Grief being banned makes Modern more fun and more interesting. The problem was what I call it inconsistently banned was that they should have banned Grief like probably a full year, maybe more than a full year before they did. Like Grief was, if they were going to ban it for play pattern purposes, they should have banned it when it was really dominant and the play pattern was way more common. When Rakdos Scam was the most popular deck in the format, maybe like earlier into the MH3 metagame. But like when they banned it, it was at like probably an all-time low since it had printed. Maybe a little bit post-printing, like when Luris was legal, it was so less play. But it was just a very inconsistent timing on their choice on when to ban it, which was my main criticism was how it was less about the fact that the card Grief was banned and more about the fact that Wizards really just bans things so at random. Like their banless philosophy is so inconsistent, it's just crazy. Do you think Esper Catcher could be competitive? I think it is competitive. Yeah. Okay, yeah, so I don't see any there was the fact that there was Obosh in here is awesome. Beck 3 main deck Beck and apparitions. Okay, I'm glad we moved away from that. Have we seen any 2s yet? Misclick Shielded was better. I can agree with that. That Shielded would have been better there. Do you think Jitte could be unbanned someday? I think it's embarrassingly low power level and it would see nearly no play. Literally, what are the 2 drops? Oh, Shieldred. Shieldred. Probably reason this deck is the 2-2 bracket. I think their deck looks great. I think playing Guide Pride in the Ketra Necro Shell makes so much sense. I'm kind of shocked I haven't seen it before. Their list looks kind of rough, I agree. Like it seems like, I don't know if you want to play the 4th copy of this, but in your Soul Spike Necro deck it seems interesting. It's not clear to me that 2 copies of Zombie Infestation is good, but my opponent's definitely going to pop off with it here. This is gonna be an although they could have made zombie tokens and they just didn't. So like they're kind of sequencing poorly. But it's like they also have like 4 ephemerates in the deck where like ephemerate is only good with Solitude, which seems like a little high. So like there's definitely tuning to be done here. But boy, does the deck look pretty cool. Yeah, like I genuinely think the first copy of Zombie Infestation could just be good, but it does seem good to curve into Necro with. Does Ephemerate work with Ketra? Yeah, you do get to draw a card. It's okay with Ketramos. So maybe I shouldn't say just Solitude. Yeah, I don't know. We could work on it. Gonna play the Shielded, I assume. I don't see those cards in the graveyard. Well, these cards are in their exile zone, right? Because of the Necro. So they're going to draw 2, gain 4. Have they gained life this turn? No. I don't. I kind of. Does Obosh work with Soul Spike? It does work with Soul Spike. Yeah, I kind of feel like Obosh is worth keeping in from their earlier build. Oh, there's also 0 Thoughtseize in the main deck. That's almost definitely wrong, I think. Yeah, Obosh means no Shieldred, but you have so much extra life gain in the deck with the Guide Prides that seems like it would just be fine. Alright, so Force in, Purge in. Snares out. You think I want Verdict? Maybe. I mean, Verdict, I don't think so because they're a Ketchermos deck. I think Verdict is like a lot worse than Terminus and the other exile-based removal. I'm just not going to bring in Harbinger against the Solitude deck. Solitude, Soul Spike, I don't know. Just too many 0 mana blowouts, I think. Surprised they're in Infestation with no Monument. I mean, Monument doesn't seem to work with any other card in their deck. Besides, I guess, discarding the hand size with Necro. I like this deck has no way to protect Necro, so if you stop them from dropping it, move it, it falls apart. Well, they also have Ketchermos, so they have redundant 3-mana card advantage engines. I do think the Obosh. To me, I would rather be on an Obosh than Shieldred Zombie Infestation from what I can see. Obosh, like going Obosh plus Soul Spike it seems like powerful enough to be in on to me. It also helps with your run out of gas issue we're kind of mentioning. Yeah, this is a European Magic tournament that's happening this weekend. Sorin House of Markov here 2 week. It turns off Obosh, which I really don't like. They do have Ketchermos from what I've seen. Their only exile stuff is Solitude. Well, they also have Necro. They have Soul Spike, which turns on Ketchermos. I think you can play Relic of Progenitus pretty easy too. Yeah, I think to say it's just a worse Ketchermos deck is it's just for me way too early to say something like that. The towers are pretty cool too. A little bit awkward. There. Yeah, I think they had a Relic in this build, but not in their first draft that we looked at. Soul Spike would only gain 4, but in paper gains you 8 with the boss, yeah. Yeah, Static Prison with just Guide as an energy generator is usually a little sus. I was liking it in the green deck we played yesterday because you have Gear Hulk and then Green Sun for Gear Hulk, and then you used to have Ranger Captain too to get Guide really consistently, and Mockingbird to make more guides. So I think that deck is kind of an exception to that rule, but in general, it's just a little concerning. Well, probably going to game 3 here. No, this seems to be their brew. One Castle Vantress. The problem is you'd have to kind of fetch land in your 8 Brainstorm deck, and it's like this. Just fetches and surveils are so valuable. All right, let's dig for a Counterspell here. Otherwise, we got a game. We'll also have a Celestial Purge, I guess. I guess I should have opted first. Yeah, sorry, I should have cast Opt first. Now we're looking for just our last force. So I'm at 11. If my opponent can triple soul spike me, we get cooked. Should their deck play coffers? If you played the Obosh build, coffers gets a little bit more interesting, but probably not. They go to 1. All right, let's see if we can just get triple soul spiked. If they have even a single soul spike, they get to kill my Jace. I love how bold they are with the draw. Would it be better if they ban Breach, Guided Souls, and Ephemerate? I don't know how if they ban Breach, Guided Souls, and Ephemerate are related here. Yeah, like just taking a look at the other draft, and we're not sure. I would be pretty interested in main decking Thoughtseize. I'd be pretty interested in main decking Relic. They soul spike a Tamiyo. Yeah, I agree they could be greedy on it. Just interesting. Okay, so they have double soul spike. What's interesting about this now is that they may have trouble killing me. Seems unlikely we're about to get soul spiked again. Would you swap Zombie for March of Wretched Sorrow? I don't think I'd play March. I don't know how there's room. I guess let's just start building the deck. While my opponent tanks. Yeah, only 3 Catcher Most seems a little weird in your Solitude Soul Spike deck. You just like pitch the extra copies so easy. Okay, so I was planning on playing Tamiyo and cracking the clue. Now it seems like I'm just gonna hold up the Counterspell. Any Ketchumos Kethis? Not yet. I know we talked about Ketchumos Kethis, and it does actually seem pretty good combo, especially because you just want to be okay. You just want to be playing what's the word? Sorry, Ketcheros is really good in like Graveyard Reliance combo decks, where it just gives you like such a good plan against their Graveyard Hate. After Char looks like Grinding Station should be contraband. I think it's so silly to think they would ban Grinding Station instead of Underworld Breach. It's like, sincerely, I don't understand how this thought happens. At the very least, you should know that there are other deterministic loops with Breach that they could play in the same shell. The best one is Enhanced Surveillance, Dragon Rage's Channeler. But of course, they would ban Underworld Breach instead of Grinding Station if they were going to ban one or the other. Okay, I took my Solitude. Was just things at random? Sure, I will say this is one that just makes no sense. I don't understand the banned Grinding Station argument at all. Grinding Station is also, again, it's banned in banned in Legacy, banned in Pioneer. It's not like they're scared of banning Underworld Breach. It's one of the worst designed cards of all time. So their hand is Ketchumos Necro Mystery card. Yeah, Breach was definitely in that era when they just were not testing cards. Okay, I think is this okay? Does this build of the deck look better? 24 lands, Obosh in the companion zone. It just looks so clean, like unbelievably clean. Eerie Sandwich with the 28 months. Thank you. Welcome back. Guess we gotta counterspell this. Wouldn't Brainsurge be better than Counterspell? I think the Counterspell is really absurd here. So I would say no, but like like we know that they have Necro and wait, wasn't the last card still a Necro? Okay, looks like we're going to game 3. I would not play Relic too few pitch cards for Soul Spike. No, we're gonna play like 8 lands that pitch to Soul Spike. We'll have plenty. We're gonna have we're gonna have 28 black cards plus Obosh. It should be fine. I think this deck would want 2 Prismatic Endings mains. Yeah, you could. If I was gonna play main deck Pending, it'd be over some number of the push, I think. Although there's the black card issue. I do agree that Ending I'm kind of liking better in the main than push in general. Malika Rebirth is kind of interesting. Maybe that's better than yeah, I think Ranger Captain's too many 3-drops. Yo, you don't want to play Nethergoyf in your Necro deck. Friends with the 44, thank you, welcome back. Alright, let's keep this. Yeah, what the worst there's also the black white MDFC, which has some tension with like kind of wanting to be Trawler. No Overlord. I don't know if you want to play Overlord in the Necro deck with no Felia. Yeah, I do agree Malika Rebirth seems kind of nice. So no, our opponent isn't playing Obosh right now, but they 5-0'd with a build of their deck that was playing Obosh. And to me it seems like Obosh is worth it's the cards that are mana value 2 and 4 are Zombie Infestation and Shieldred. To me, it seems like I would be interested in playing Obosh instead because it seems like it's just really, really strong with their deck plan. It seems like it's really strong with Soul Spike. Just Soul Spike deal 8 damage. KF with the 20 months. Thank you. Welcome back. Companions are broken. Do you still feel Ketcheros is on par with Uro Oko after a few weeks? So I've been saying that I think Uro is better than both of them. And I think I think Ketcheros is better than Oko would be in current modern for whatever that's worth. I know it's still a little crazy to say. Oh, sorry. I keep having this dialogue tree. I think this, and then I remember that Breach would play Oko, and then I think, okay, maybe after Breach gets banned, we could circle back to this thought. That's been the dialogue tree. Yes. Wait. Breach would be the most insane Oko deck of all time. And then I say, well, we'll think about it some more if Breach gets banned. But I do think Uro would be better than both of them. This is another thing, too, about the whole Oko conversation. It seems to have not been very helpful because of all the formats Oko was ever legal in, it was the least powerful in Modern. It was the least dominant in Modern, I should say. It was very, very good in Modern. It was very, very, very good in all the format. But I think it was more warping in Pioneer, Legacy, and Standard than Modern. Ketchamos gets played in Timeless while Oko basically doesn't. Yeah, that's an interesting dynamic there. Okay, chatters, let's not counter Zombie Infestation. Don't say I never did anything for you. Didn't burn Splash for Oko. Yeah, but that deck wasn't like actually serious. You know what I mean? Like burn plus Oko was not a competitive Modern deck. I don't feel like that's a very hot take either. Like I like when we're having this conversation, didn't Burn play Oko like one person 5-0'd a meme league with Oko in their Burn deck? What it like this just not a very serious conversation. The version you're making is strictly black-white, but if you make it somewhere closer to Martyrlist you played yesterday, you could have one Arena of Glory and a Hasty Obosh. You can't play Arena in your Necro deck, I think. Didn't Oko played in the Urza Astrolab horrible deck that terrifies me to this day? Yeah, so this is what I'm talking about, and this is my main point is comparing any card to Oko is very difficult to do in Modern because of people's perception of it in other formats. Yes, Oko is a horribly designed card, incredibly broken, very good, dominant in Modern. But also in that deck you're describing, Oko, by my recollection, wasn't the most terrifying part. Like genuinely, Urza was like the more potent threat because of like the Mystic Sanctuary, Cryptic Command loops was so crazy. And so but again, my thesis is that this conversation isn't very productive because of people's perception on Oko. Esther with the 44 months, thank you, sweetie. Welcome back. The last Spartan GP with Oko had 7 out of 8 decks in the top 8. I know, and so this is also the thing. It's like when I say that Oko was less warping in Pioneer, Standard, and Legacy, Oko was very warping in Modern too. I'm just saying that's how crazy it was in these other formats. It's less of saying it wasn't insane in this format. It's more of me saying that it just was that much better in the other formats, which is, I know, kind of wild, but that's my memory. You know what I mean? And again, this is why this conversation has never gone anywhere, and why I need to stop. We need to stop having it. Is because it's that's how crazy Oko is, I guess. Seems like we should just Solitude this. Why do we have these conversations when bannings don't make sense? They banned Flame Tongue Kavu, but not too many Yogs will. What is Flame? Is Amped Raptor supposed to be Flame Tongue Kavu in this context? I agree the bannings make no sense. I just don't know what Flame Tongue Kavu is supposed to be. Fury? Yeah, I mean the Fury, it should have been Grief then. Willow with the 6 months to go back. They discard another zombie infestation into Phyrexian Tower. I think we just get this game over with. I think 99% time, want to see modern bans are a point. I think that they had a really good streak of modern bans. And I think that they've recently had a bad streak. Or like, maybe not bad so much as like the fact that the scheduled BNRs took so long to start to help the format was like it was just so bad. Yeah, I would say it's more of the timing than the actual choices. At least lately. Although the Grief ban was like really, really inconsistent. All right, GG to our opponent. Very cool deck. So we had a 3-hour 3-2 here. 3-hour 3-2. Could have definitely played better, I think, in both matches we lost. Especially that Eldrazi match where everyone was very chill, myself included.